Hello and welcome to Creativity-Hive. This is our weekly broadcast. My name is Miriam Haugen, and I am one of the founders of Creativity-Hive, along with we help budding videographers achieve massive editing skills through one-on-one teaching and live group coaching. And our weekly program brings you people working in the video industry from across the globe. Interesting people doing interesting things, people that you can connect to and learn from. And today we are meeting David Laposi. He's a 31-year-old director, editor, and colorist living in Budapest, Hungary. He started his career as an editor, but a few years later, he also developed an interest toward directing and editing music videos and commercials. Right now, he lives in Budapest as a freelancer. He likes to edit travel videos and find new opportunities. Welcome, David.
Welcome. It's nice to be here. Thank you for it.
All right. So I always like to know how did you learn your skills? What path did you follow to get where you are now?
Oh, so I try to cut the long story short again because it's always hard to describe every little detail. But if I have to be honest, I'm kind of learning everything by myself. So I finished in a university, actually both universities. I have a bachelor and also a master degree in film. But if I have to say how much I learned by myself and how much I learned in the wonderful teachers in the university who actually I work with and connect with along in the road, it's like 80 and 20%. So 80% is the technical knowledge which I found on internet, which I found in books, which I found in specific books or actually manuals instead. And a university give me really deep knowledge in history, style, and all the things which is not that technical, but you have to know these kind of things to involve your vision to film itself. So basically, this is how, mostly from the internet.
Right. So the university, did you spend a lot of money on your university education?
Actually, my parents founded me at the beginning.
Right.
So that was the first 3 years. It was not that expensive comparing to the Hungarian average income. And the second university was for free. But after, when I'm graduate, the government already canceled that program, and there is no more government-founded education. I mean, there is no such course what you can get here as a master degree. But the whole situation about education is really changing right now. And if you are familiar with or interested about politics here, you can read extremely big amount of stuff about how they changing the whole environment, the whole management of the universities in our country.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic, but that's probably a big rabbit hole we could go down, and probably should not go down right now.
Absolutely.
So I just put your website up on the screen there so that people can
check
out your cool reel that you have up there, and all of those, a long list of credits, all the things that you've worked on. Very, I think people should check that out. So, what surprises did you have starting out? Did you have any surprises? And what surprises do you have now, more recently?
Oh, you mean any work which I did?
Yeah, that's kind of an open-ended question. Just see where it takes you. Were you surprised by anything in the industry? Like you were going to college and then all of a sudden you came out and you're going.
Yeah, I just having a problem with your audio at the last sentence. Yeah, I'm not hearing you right now. It's you know, the devil of the techniques. Any? Don't know. Yeah, I checked my laptop and it has a sound. I'm a
See,
troubleshooter.
I had muted mine, but
I hear you.
so yeah. So Miriam is still out, huh?
Yeah, sadly. But
Oh, yeah. Okay. So when you were first starting out and actually working in this professionally, were there things that were a surprise to you from what you might have expected otherwise? You know, frequently we have expectations of things, but when we actually go do it, it's very different.
sure. I mean, the whole educational system, what we have, is not a good way to understand life itself. So, for example, I never learned nothing about freelancing, not the financial things, not about how to, I don't know, send a CV or how to pay checks and stuff. So that's university is not a place for that. But I think uh, this is understandable because none of the educational system works like this. It's not a specific Hungarian
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Right.
So, for example, that's why I started to teach from a year ago or maybe 2 years ago to teach color and color science kind of properly because I was not teach it in that way how I wanted to be taught. So I suck all this knowledge from the internet and from professionals, absolutely. So after the knowledge, I have to validate myself. So I went some of the bigger names in the industry in color, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and they validate this knowledge. So any surprise? Yeah, that was good. There was a lot of surprises. For example, the prices at the first I don't know, few years, I absolutely can't position myself in the market. So I don't know, is it too much? Is it too less? What I'm asking for? And for example, this kind of knowledge would be really, really helpful if I know this before. But I also think that there is a benefit of learning this by your own. I mean, you are creating your own mistakes, and if they are not too big, you can learn from it, and you will never do it again. So yeah, ton of surprises in the long road. Yeah, I think so. And I'm really young, so I'm waiting for the new surprises every day.
Well, I've been around professionally running my own business for over 40 years, and
Oh,
there are always surprises.
yeah.
And that's one of the fascinating things to talk with people is, so what are the surprises? Now, it'd be nice actually if Miriam could holler out, because I can hear her down the hallway, one of the other questions to get on to here.
Yeah. I cannot. I
in
cannot.
the comments. Okay. Yeah. Compare what you thought your work life would be like when you were younger versus what it's actually like, other than I sit around in front of the computer screen a lot.
Yeah. So I'm really lucky, and I'm created this for myself. So I was really, really straight what I want to reach, and this was my first intent. This is my first feeling, which I said to myself when I was 16 or actually 17, when I just know that I will work in film, and I actually this is the only thing which I can do because I was really, really, really bad in the college, and I was really having bad marks and stuff. So I almost get through at the first exam in the school. So I know that I have to do this passion because this is the only thing which I can fulfill. Um, so actually, I lost my cue.
Well, I'll just say I know from my own experience that a lot of people that do well in a very structured college environment get out into working on a field like this where you're out working by yourself. You don't have several days where you can repeat an assignment if you miss it or anything like that. You have things that have to get done today. This has to get done here. This has to be done there. You've got to communicate with this person. You've got to keep 10 balls in the air. And a lot of the people that do well in college get out and this drives them nuts. And a lot of people that really did poorly at college get out into a real workflow and find, oh yeah, I can do this. This is no problem.
Yeah, actually, just one thing came to my mind, which was really, really a big thing for me to understand and realize I have to do this. So I thought that knowledge is everything. I mean, if you learn everything which can be learned technically, so you know the programs, you know the, I don't know, you know science, you know as much programs as you know, and you can also look around a bit, and if we are talking about editing, then you can learn a bit about After Effects, you know, and some compositing and stuff, and also Photoshop maybe, and shoot some stills. That would be enough, but it looks like it's not. The most important thing, and actually half of my work, 50%, is to communicate with clients. And that's one of the most important aspects of a freelancer. I mean, I have to found my own jobs. I have to reach for it. Somehow I have to reach the clients. And if they not come by recommendation, they will come because of my reel, actually. And first I started to build some community to try to fit in this 21st century madness about Instagram and Vimeo and YouTube and TikTok and stuff, and just somehow try to be noticed. So if I just have to say one thing for every newcomer, and I'm also a newcomer, actually, I just in 10 years in this, that would be pay attention really much for, and actually learn how to communicate well, how to use psychology to avoid risky situations where you know, people, anyway, everybody is creative, so that they are, you know, they're shaping each other, and if you want them to work with you again, you have to be really, really polite, and don't go straight into the wall like, yeah, I'm in. So you have to redefine your ego many times, I guess.
I was watching a presentation with Walter Volpato, a great colorist, 4-hour plus presentation. And one of his biggest things all the way through was you have to respect the director of the photography and the director of the show when he's working color. He doesn't take over his color and run with it and do something because they have what they've done. And he has to be careful because he has to presume that the director of the photography actually knew what he was doing. So if a shot looks a little dark, he probably wanted it dark. And your whole thing about communication, he has to communicate before he changes that in order to know if that was a mistake or if that was what he wanted. And so, yeah, that whole communication with clients is so incredibly crucial. What's a typical workday like?
Absolutely. So I'm working in different areas all the time. So I think I will say my last week because it was pretty busy, and I'm, you know, this phase as a freelancer, I'm usually experiencing this. Then sometimes I'm not working in a week at all, and I'm just bounding my wounds actually, or archiving stuff, and you know, do the administration work. And the next week everybody's calling me like, hey David, we are doing this, hey David, we are doing that, we want you for here, want you from that. And I was, oh my god, just call me before 1 week. It's much more easier for me to manage all the stuff. So I'm quite not realizing, feeling myself not well in a situation like this, because stress is just coming around me, and I have to work in the stress also, and I have to understand and try to fight with it. So my last week in Hungary, there's a lot of bigger A-list productions, also from Netflix, from abroad, and I'm not just a colorist in here. I'm usually working in a DIT on sets, also a DMT. DIT is a digital image technician who actually does the technical eye of the DP, and data management technician, DMT, is the other term. It's called loader. They are the ones on set who collect the camera cards and offload it to specific hard drives and do copies and do some other stuff. So if I'm not doing these things, I'm working in other things. And I also mastered a music video, and I'm teaching. So there is this DaVinci Resolve basics and color science workshop, which I'm doing for right now to 7 or 8 individual, both online and both presently, so they can fit in this studio where I'm in. And I also running for the Dolby Vision individual certification right now. So actually, just before this call, I passed the first online exam. So I'm pretty pumped.
Yo, that's exciting.
Yeah, I am, because I failed at the first attempt. That's why I was really excited, because there is 85% you have to reach minimal to pass, and I reached it the first time 80. So, and right now it's 92%. So I'm okay, but I was shocked. I thought this is easy, but
for people that don't know about Dolby Vision is actually the primary HDR system used by Netflix and I think Disney and Hulu even. And before you can handle the color on a show that's going to be put out in HDR via Dolby Vision, you have to be certified. And it's an incredibly complex thing to do. And oh my gosh, there are so many of these nomenclature things, these terms, EOTFs, IDTs, ODTs, and max fall, max CLL, and all this kind of stuff and you have to know what all of these mean, and it is so freaking confusing. I deal with colorists a lot because I teach on a colorist website, and man, keeping up with the jargon is amazing. So you actually have passed the written part. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the first, and I'm actually I also do this on my own. I mean, there is almost no one who I can talk about HDR right now, because it's an old thing versus new thing, because it's a new thing for us Hungarians, I guess. We read about it, but there was no enough money for buy the technique and stuff, because the monitors are pretty damn expensive.
It's still less than 10% of the professional market. Most of the colorists over at Mixing Light have not actually produced anything professionally for sale in HDR yet. Now, Robbie Carmen, of course, is one of the top experts in it, but one of the founders there. But it's very new.
Yeah, it is, and I was really happy because I just get this monitor from my good friend Balázs Rozgonyi, this Flanders XM310K. So,
oh my gosh, I'm green.
Yeah, it's actually, I also said to some of my friends, like, I have this monitor, and everybody said, oh my God, it's like $25,000. I guess that's the price. So I really cannot afford it. And I'm super want to say thank you for Balázs for getting, that I can borrow this monitor from him. And this is the only one, and that this is the best monitor what they have. Actually, they have several HDR monitors in Video Assist Hungary, where you can get this stuff. But this is the best, and I'm really happy to at least get a taste of HDR, because this equipment is really nice.
I taught at NAB, National Association of Broadcasters, massive trade show in Vegas in 2019 in the Flanders Mixing Light booth. and all of our presentations were shown on a 310. And so they had a 310 and a 311 sitting there. And of course, several of the people were like the Dolby Vision guy, Alexis Van Herkman, were demonstrating their projects in HDR over it. And of course, we were all just sitting there, with drool coming out of our mouth because those screens are so beautiful. I'm totally green with jealousy over that monitor.
I can understand, but I'm really jealous about your whole profession and about everything. So it's so much more what I want to reach what you already did. So I'm just the beginning of this experience actually, which I want to follow.
Well, Mo is here now, so Mo, you want to ask something?
Yes. Hi, David. Just a quick question. I had a look at some of your portfolio work, and it was interesting to see the hun. It looks pretty high, and I just wanted to kind of understand, on the hun, were you doing the coloring, or the editing, or were you directing? It's very nice looking. I think we should maybe have a chat with Miriam at some point, maybe to highlight that particular clip or trailer, which it's just pretty cool. So I'm just wondering how you were involved in that.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's super good. So the whole project was founded and created by my good friend Andor Záhonyi, Záhonyi Andor, actually in a Hungarian pronunciation. And he's an extremely talented CG artist. I think he works right now one of the biggest facilities here in Hungary, Digic Pictures, where he's don't want to be wrong here, so he's working there. I don't know the actual position because I'm not really educated about the workflows in effects, but he's the one who's created, and actually his family is inside the movie, so he's created this for his children. And if you see the credits the end of the trailer, because this is a fake trailer actually about the fake action hero who is a Hungarian stereotype. Yes. So if you want to learn about the Hungarian stereotypes, just put something in YouTube. Maybe everything, goulash and puli kutya and stuff. So everything. Right. We are pretty unique, I guess. I'm proud about my country in this way. But so he's created this amazing fake trailer, and he was generous enough to handle it to me to finalize and master the content. So it was like 30 hours, and the whole project was so the source material was two types of source material. The first was absolutely computer generated image, so I can easily work with that because the coding of that image it's really tough. So I can manipulate wherever I want because there was no such strong intuition about the look, what they want to create. Mm-hmm. The second thing which I'm facing with is Sony A7S II. So that was kind of limiting the whole thing. And I think the end of the project was finished in two passes. I mean, there was two master copies, and the first one is for YouTube. It's designed for office environment, so it's a bit less contrasty. Yeah, that's in YouTube, and it's in my channel. There is a much more contrasty version of it. So that's kind of a colorist version, which is my version. The second is which is the main film, is in YouTube in CG Bros, I guess. Yeah. So that's the where you can find it, and I really want to say thank you for Andor to bringing me this amazing project and let me finalize the whole thing.
Well, the color. I was looking at the colorist version. It's actually pretty impressive. I'm sure it was a bit of a nightmare working with that particular camera, and the color space there. But I mean, the colorist version is very extremely high end. So the question would be, your portfolio stems from being a director. It's very similar to where I am. If Miriam hasn't mentioned, so that with directing visual effects, I specialize a lot in visual effects actually, and CG, and then post-production mainly on the editing side, and the sound, not too much of coloring, but if it's needed, yes. Neil's, that's his kind of area of expertise. Worked on feature films and large projects, CG. So I looked at your stuff, and my question would have been, who are your, who influenced you along the way? Do you have any guys that kind of you looked at and said, well, this is a great guy to kind of, be inspired by, or was it just work in general, random pieces of work that you looked at and said, this is the path I want to follow, and these are the guys that are inspirational towards me?
Yeah, I totally understand your question, and I just really want quickly to go to my site because there is a tab there which is about me, and under that there is, unfortunately, it's kind of Hungarian names who I inspired by, and your question was, is it just work or is it a life experience or something? So not just work, of course, and I think the first person who was not my teacher was György Gattyán. He's the second wealthiest Hungarian right now, and I was his video creative for a year. The job was to kind of write his biography, but in photos and videos. And I'm usually creating projects for the company also. It's Dockler Holding. There is a really big worldwide big industry going under the name of Dockler Holding, and I was honored to work there for a year to duty.
Yeah.
And the second part is, for example, teachers. I can absolutely say many words, many names, but those people were teachers, and they are teachers in this time also. So that's it. And actually, my first job as a filmmaker was in a facility in a full-service production company called Umbrella Budapest, New York, and I worked here, and I was an online editor at the first time. So in that year when I worked there, I learned a lot of know-how, and based on that knowledge, I can build up my whole system, my whole studio, and my whole workspace as a freelancer.
That's fantastic. The obvious question that I guess everyone would be on anyone's lips at this point in time was your portfolio looks really cool. I've looked at the About Me, and it's been around Basecamp, Everest, and so forth, which is really awesome to be involved with stuff like that. It's a great experience to travel. My question, I'm sure a lot of people would want to know about this, is how do you feel? What has happened once COVID has come in, and has it changed a lot for you, particularly as a freelancer? Because competition's high, everyone wants to kind of do everything that you're doing, and I'm doing as a freelancer kind of stuff. We're not hired as such by a large studio, don't own a large studio. So has COVID changed the way that you view or are being viewed by clientele?
Yeah, so there is two things to mention here, if I want to be absolutely honest. The first thing is I had a personal relationship, I mean, with a girl, and it ended up because of COVID and because of many things. But I think also, so if you are asking about my life as a freelancer, which is kind of overlap, this is also a thing which I have to face with at the beginning of the quarantine. The second part was the jobs, and for 3 months I canceled almost everything which I had, which I had to pay. For example, Frame.io subscription, Google Cloud subscription, and these companies actually were generous enough to handle me 3 months for free when the first lockdown was in time.
Right.
And there was no job for, I don't know, 4 months or something. The only thing which I can do is teaching for free, actually, because I didn't want to charge no one in this situation. So I just wanted to, help, and I had time, so I did this for free in that time. And there was only one more thing. Somebody, actually a bigger production, just lose some footage, and I have the backup.
Okay.
So I had to handle them. I also want, and I think I have to mention that and I really don't want to go deep into this because of the topic, but we don't have any help from our government. So there was no help at all. No, any support what they can give to the film industry was cancelled. There was no support at all.
Wow.
And the most annoying thing was that they changed the primary. I have to look. My vocabulary is not as good in the financial,
okay.
so
Cool.
I cannot describe it all. But the plan where I can do my business as a freelancer just technically cut in half by the government right now. So if I had a job in the last year, which I can do it for, I don't know, 100 something, I have to do it in this year to 50% less. And this is true.
Right.
Yeah, they just changed the system, and everybody is like, ants in the rain, like, oh, what I will do and stuff. So, but this is kind of basic here. So this was the thing, and actually in the second part of the first lockdown, so actually after the first lockdown, our government said that we can open, so everybody was free before the second wave. And I directed there 2 commercials, and because of those commercials, and because I can also did do the editing and the color grading next to directing, I can ask for the price, if you know what I mean. So I did much more, and I can collect those values, that money for myself. So I kind of, I wouldn't say I had to survive. I was the lucky ones who had enough in the bank to survive this, but there was many sad stories, and I'm really feel shamed about this, because there was no help, and many people's lives went into really worse, into really bad situations, and that's it. And if I have to say one funny thing, then there is this thing from the clients called, let's give me your COVID price. Yeah, COVID price. Yeah, that's good.
So you would say that because you were multifaceted in your approach as a director, as a colorist, as an editor, and so on, you had all the eggs kind of in one basket, so to speak, or multiple baskets here, and that's actually one of the reasons you survived, where a lot of people actually did survive this, in terms of having an income stream. So would that be advice for those beginning or starting out, or even guys that haven't been around for too long haven't established a reputation and name, that you say diversify your skill sets. Is that what I'm hearing?
Um, I think in my position, because I'm so young in this, I cannot say a lifelong experience because there is no. So everything which I will say comes from me and from my perspective. Uh, everybody, almost everybody, even my mom said to me that you have to be good in one thing and learn that and be a master of it. And I
Yes.
said, hell no, I'm I'm from the generation Y. I'm this kind of guy. I'm born in the 90s.
Right.
If I have to create a film, I can buy a 60D, and there is a lot of depth of field. So yeah, I learned how to do this. So people call me this kind of one man army because I can produce from the beginning to the end, but they are not understanding that why is this so expensive. And I'm saying because the whole market position film itself really expensive thing, and they don't understand. and when I'm telling people that, oh my god, this monitor cost $25,000,
Yeah.
that's something. I mean, it's like a two car. You can even buy a flat in that
Yeah.
price. So that's a pretty big thing to consider. So
Yeah.
I will
Absolutely.
say I will say if somebody wants to be good at something, just do it. And if you are not familiar with that, after a while, then change it. And every kind of learning is, I don't know. It's um, create a bigger person inside you. I mean, you can use that knowledge to
Yeah.
be better anyway. So learn until you dead, and I will do this. And many people does this.
Fantastic. Fantastic advice, David. Tell me a question about, and again, because of COVID, this has happened. There's a lot of news talk about remote workflows across, of office buildings across the state, across continents, across countries, and so forth. Have you started working remotely whatsoever? And if so, are there pieces of software that you are looking at that are, fitting into your current workflow? I'm asking this because it's important. A lot of the editors, colorists, and visual effects artists and post production artists are now working collaboratively across continents, and Neil and I do the same. So we've been experimenting with pieces of software. I'm just trying to understand whether it's hit your area yet, or it's hit your area of expertise yet in any way, or have you come across where situations have arisen where you now need to work across, from a country to a country, or from a different state to a different state?
So I worked remotely as an editor, actually, a few times, and basically nobody is in my studio since a while. And if they coming here, there are several safety things what they should follow at all. Masks. There is a HP, uh, so it's an airflow. I'm looking for the word air pufferer. Don't know, but it
Air purifier. Yeah.
filter. So it's filter the air at all and collect all the COVID particles and stuff. Um, and if you're talking about color, it's a whole different thing, because in color it's a must-have thing to work. So it's a must-have thing to check out. Then the DP and the colorist are watching the same monitor. And if I want to have a workflow which is remote, I have to do it I can do it just in two ways. The first way is somehow to give the client or the DP a proper calibrated monitor, and put a resolve actually in front of him and tunnel it together. I mean, connect the two things together, and then I can color grade. But nobody will pay for this service because it's kind of expensive.
Yes.
I mean, in those kind of clients who I work as a freelancer, as a professional in Video Assist Hungary, they provide this feature, this ability to work remotely. And there was a lot of situations when in a bigger production, the DP just get COVID, and we need to somehow send the image directly from set without latency to his hotel room to continue the shoot. So actually, that this is the first way. The second way is where I'm pretty interested about, but it's also expensive. I mean, from my perspective as a freelancer, not from a company, to give the clients proper calibrated iPads, because for example, the new iPads which just came out in a few weeks, the display is absolutely amazing. And I'm seriously telling this, that the HDR capabilities, it's hitting the target right now. So we can remotely send a consumer display for clients to validate also HDR and also SDR content, which is amazing. So I'm working in these kind of areas. So technically, I'm not working remotely as much as I wanted, but these kind of solutions are already created, and if we have to, we just, I don't know, need a job to jump on, and we are sending the things. Oh, and there is a third option which I was aware of about a week ago, when they created 2 rooms and 2 separated resolve systems, and the client just went to one, and the DP just went to the second one, and they communicating with in headset or something, and it's almost the same as remote, just with no latency. And if you are working in a facility where there's 2 particular studios, color studios, then you can do this.
Yeah, well, with the zero latency issue, the question is more about if you had to work with a different country as an example, and you're shooting in 4 or 5K, and you want to share, you're editing directly from the cloud. Have you run into this kind of stumbling block where you actually have an issue editing the footage, or they have to send it to you via a external hard drive? Or have you begun the latest buzzword is editing on the cloud, because the latencies have become virtually zero with a few pieces of technology at the moment. Just a handful of guys doing it, but everyone's now remotely working in that way, where, for example, if you look at Adobe Premiere Pro and the team projects and what they've done with it, in my opinion, it's in its kind of infancy, though. It still needs to mature a little bit, but it's come a long way. The trick was, how do we get large file formats to be sitting up in the cloud, and you have access to it and I have access to it on an instantaneous level? I mean, as a freelancer, that's actually now a huge, massive area that's being put out there for people to work with. So you could be working with the United States, or you could be working with, I'm in South Africa, so you can understand that working with Neil we're working with Adobe, it's a country away or a continent away. So there are, the buzzword right now again is cloud-based editing. It's a huge thing. Bandwidth speeds have caught up. Colorists are creating first light grade, second light, etc., and it's sent up with the original 4 and 5K pieces of footage, and everything's, instead of a NAS or SAN, it's being sitting on the cloud. So I'm not sure if you run into that, or if you've begun working with that at all. Yes, maybe, or no, perhaps.
Yeah. So personally, I didn't experience this. Didn't experience this, but I'm aware of it. And actually, I think to be speaking really fast about this, we have to make a difference between editing and color grading in this time, because you can edit in proxies, and you can also color grade with proxies, but there is a little bit of a difference there. So at least data flow wisely. There is a really big difference, and you can edit on your own and actually send that to somebody who can validate it. But of course, I mean, there are situations when the when the director or DP, I mean, mostly the director, sitting next to you, and edit with him. But I think editing is a bit, it can handle latency. I mean, but color grading, where you have to be aware of, and it's because it's a finishing move, you have to be sure that all the details are created with that material what you will encode. Encode, yeah. So I'm not experiencing this in my side, but for example, what Frame.io did at the last few weeks, and they technically sending technically sending the data directly from camera, from set to the cloud, and create the daily there.
Absolutely, yeah. So
it's amazing. I mean, the whole technique is. I'm using Frame.io since I don't know when they born actually, and that's
great.
the most interesting, most epic tool right now in the market, what you can use for this. So yeah, this is the future, and I'm absolutely
100% agreed. It's absolutely the future. Fantastic, David. It's been wonderful speaking to you. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Miriam. And thanks for the wonderful chat. It's very informative and educational.
Welcome, sir.
So I trust that my mic is working now.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Really happy for it. Yeah.
That's good.
Don't worry. There was some technical issues, It's not that
right. So thank you so much, David. This has been really interesting. So I just wanted, for our audience, a little conclusion here. If you want to join the Creativity-Hive community, we have a Facebook group. And if you would like to connect with us so that you can share ideas, get tips, ask questions, and know when we're going live again, then just put a comment here below or beside or wherever, and I'll send you an invitation to that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you for inviting me here. And
all right.
I'm really happy about this, to finally get connected with you. So my pleasure, and thank you.
That's wonderful. Good luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you, Miss.